Greetings to all and sundry, Chancellor North Wales here. So, normally by now you would probably see a build vid, but this is really an update vid for what's been going on the Out of Your Comfort Zone group build. And I'm going to say this, hats off to Hamilcar Barkus and Russell Goslin for running this one. It's really challenged me in more ways than I originally imagined it would do. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about what I've been up to, some of the challenges we faced with this, and we are now very much on the home stretch, so I think a little bit more time on it tonight, and hopefully I'll get a bit of modelling time, or reasonable bit of modelling time Sunday, and we should have it very, very close. So certainly by next weekend there'll be the build vid up, if not before. So going to cover what I've done, experience and feelings about that, and then discuss a little bit more of the detail and some of the other aspects. So this is where we're up to. As many of you guys know, I was working on an English rural scene. So what you have here, canal boat, collier's one, windmill, and the miller's cottage. If we turn it round, we can see from the other side miller's cottage, and yes, if you're asking, just there is a little outdoor toilet. The cottage, the mill yard, cobblestoned yard there, and some on the left. Recent work has been finishing off this canal boat, collier's barge. You see the tarpaulin's put on there. Possibly I should have done and pulled taut, but it's a little bit untidy there. You can see you can see the coal through it as well. So the barge is pretty much done now. I might try and add a coil of rope, a couple of coils of rope, and I've got to do someone at the bow and another gentleman holding the tiller. So other aspects of this build, since I did the last video where I pretty much got the windmill itself finished, I embarked on the miller's cottage. And okay, this is dowel kit, not the highest quality of models by any stretch of the imagination, but essentially it should have been a very simple one. Unfortunately I decided to make it somewhat more complicated, and what makes matters worse is it's going to be very difficult to see it, why it was more complicated. I felt it needed some kind of interior, and I ended up going down the modelling rabbit warren, shall we say, slightly named pursuit, of giving it a completely modelled kitchen. Yes, I made an Arga cooker, kitchen table, benches, French dresser with the miller's wife's crockery on it as well, and then in where it's visible through the windows, though there's no interior lighting so you can't really see anything anyway, there's things like family photos and pictures on the walls and all those kinds of things. And also all the windows, particularly the upstairs ones, have curtains on them as well. So I sort of did the stuff for the kitchen and sort of realised that that stage, if I carried on doing more for the house, I'd need some kind of psychiatric counselling, and set about quickly finishing it off, close it all up and all the rest of it. So that was a little bit of a going down and then sort of pause for thought. Anyway, the yard has been done using the Metcalf cobblestone sheets. Then some, if you can see here, grass flock for the garden, a vegetable patch, a little path to the outdoor toilet, I think I'm going to have to work out how I can make cabbages in 1/72 scale, and that might prove a little bit of an interesting one to do. Considering the location of the downs of the loo, I think it'll be a good cabbage crop. Anyway, the other thing I'm going to add to this, and I thought about adding this camel scarab, which I thought was a nice model, but it's going to be too much of a tight fit in the yard, and it would be difficult to imagine that kind of vehicle manoeuvring into that space. So I had a rummage through my stash, and I had this set. So I'm going to use the Jeep to paint it up as an army surplus Jeep, and I also had the Hasegawa Jeep and set, which with it came the trailer. So that's what I'm working on now, the little Jeep and trailer. So there'll be a Jeep with a trailer, you know, Army World War II surplus one in the yard, and there'll be sacks of flour arrayed by the side of the mill and a chap loading them in there. So and then a little bit more clutter in the yard, possibly including a coal shed, probably put somewhere like that sort of area there. And the other thing I will include, probably running from the house to about there on a pole, will be a clothesline as well. Not sure whether my modelling skills are up to doing a miller's wife's undies in 1/72, but might be something like a the rug from the front room hanging on there to get the old dusting. So that's where we are. Not, as I said, not too much more work on this. I'm enjoying this. Where it's been interesting is I'm normally very strictly a one project at a time person, and I do see you guys, and I wonder, you know, what is the mentality driving, you know, building multiple projects at the same time. But because this has so many discrete elements, I have found myself working in that multi-project mode, having done a bit on the farmhouse, do a bit more on the base, come back, do a little bit more on the barge, do a little bit more here, there, and spotting. So within the project itself, I've found myself jumping from one thing to another. I still don't think I'd like to do that for, like, build two Russian jets at the same time or something like that. I don't think that would just suit my building style at all. But on this, I have found myself working in that manner. The figures I'm going to be using are going to be from, again, Dalpole and Koch. So it'll be an interesting mix of figures to deliver the goods on that one. After building this, and before I get on with the Calypso, I need, how can I say, like a model that you depressurize on, something that that's going to be massively back into my comfort zone, easy to build, because the MiG-25, that old Hasegawa kit, as jets go, it's going to be a bit of more of a major project. It's going to need a lot of rescribing, a lot of additional work on it, in my mind, to get it to what I want it to be. So as a depressurization or an easy project, I'm going to be doing the MiG-19 Farmer, which I think from a collection point of view is an aircraft that I do feel it needs to be in there. So it's a Mr. Hobby kit. The quality is neither here nor there, to be honest with you. Recessed panel lines, very little cockpit detail, needs a bit of dressing up, but still not wholly a bad kit at all. So I think it'll give you some. I think it'll give quite a nice, simple build. But still plugging away at this, enjoying it thoroughly. That's why I'm saying a big thank you to Russell and Michael for launching this group build. Really, this is now time where you just add a little bit more life to it and start bringing in the figures. So, brief this was a quick chat, guys. Loving the work I'm seeing online. It's seeing what I've noticed is a lot of you guys are really going fast on your builds. Martin Full Moon Drummer really drove ahead with the A1 Sky Raider after doing a gorgeous job on his F4 Phantom. Rebels at Cloud 9 cracked on with a lovely Heinkel 111, the Hasegawa kit, which has also been released by Revell, and he seems to get on with that in a blistering pace. And a lot of you guys seem to be doing models that are really charging on. It's been lovely to see reviews and builds of the new Airfix Bluton Pool Defined. Most notably, Made Modeler has done a lovely job of his. What I'm still a little bit peeved off, I popped to Chester Model Shop on Friday after work, like I need an excuse to go there, seeing if the new Supermarine Swift, which I was hoping Airfix was saying was going to be out in 2014, it's still not showing up in the shops yet. And because I believe in support your local model shop, no way am I going to order it online. I will only buy it when I see it on the shelves at Chester Model Centre. That's the only kits I really want to buy out there are ones that really are the Russian subjects that are harder to get, and generally for those I go looking for them at model shows, and on a rare occasion will I buy something online. So as I said, enjoying this, guys, really enjoying your videos, following your builds, your new projects. Lenny Model Pro 72, like what you're doing with that C130 that you're building with the sergeant from the Air Cadets. That's lovely to see that going on. Chris, great to see you back in the modelling. So guys, that's meaning the primitive modelling. Chris, great to see your videos coming back and you cracking on with your project. That's been a real encouragement. Lots and just a huge amount of great work, guys, there, and some brilliant variety of work being seen recently as well. Not doing this as an out-and-out shouting out video. For me, those take a bit more preparation, finding your channels and structuring everything together. So, quick update, guys. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for following the channel. Thank you all for your comments, support and everything else. Take care of yourselves. Happy modelling and God bless. So this is Chancellor North Wales signing out.